Hi, in this video we'll look at how you can actually make a business case for SAP PI testing. What kind of parameters do you need to put into this, and obviously how can you do this even better? So why is testing important for any PI scenarios? So I found that when I was going through different instances of surveys about testing, I found something around 30 to 40% of all development cost is done for testing. And there's obviously some difference if it's a support change or it is a new development, how this reacts and what you're supposed to be doing. I can see when I'm doing support for customers on PI scenarios, development time for a change may not be that much, but if the business needs to test a lot, it takes a lot more effort than just 35% of the effort in the testing. So it is important, and it does take quite a bit of resources for you to do. So just consider your 35% of your PI development cost. How much is that? So what is it that is costing with testing? So there's some developer test where the developer has to figure out what he needs to test, how to test it. There's and for this to work, he needs to be able to get data he can work with and verify that it works. There's unit test, user acceptance test, where you get the business involved in testing these things. There may be some costs with setting up automated tests if you want to do that. You may have a test manager and coordinator. You want to make sure that all of these things work together. You need to test the documentation, and then most importantly, a lot of these things take time away from your business where they could actually be doing real business stuff and creating new value for your customers instead of testing. So that's some of the cost involved with testing. So in this webinar, I've done some estimations and some variables that you obviously can change. That's an Excel sheet you can get from below the video, that you can actually verify how does this look in your scenario. So development cost is 80 euros or dollars now. For now, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. It's almost the same. The number of ICOs you have is 200, and the number of changes you have per year is 300. So 300 support cases a year, one a day. And then you want to install support packets 2 times a year. Then when we're looking at normal testing in PI, what kind of costs do we have in that? So the first thing we have is a test when we're changing a mapping. So this would be either when we're creating a new one, or if we're just changing one of the existing mappings. And my estimation is that this would take 30 minutes for each ICO you have, or each of these tests you have to do this, or 2 hours to do that. So that's 2 hours. If you got, so that would cost you 160 US dollars, and if you do that 300 times a year, that's 48,000. If you do support packages, you may be able to test a little faster. So an hour per of your 200 interfaces, that adds up to 16,000 per support package times 2 a year, so that's 32,000, so a total of 80,000. If you want to automate this with, for instance, ERT, the tool that we've created that makes it a lot faster to test and collect test data and run and verify these things, it looks a little differently. At least this is the first year price. Here you got the server price of 30,000. You got the installation and configuration of initial, figuring out how to install it and work out, may cost 5,000 euros, US dollars. Then when you want to create the test cases, this is a significantly reduction of price. Here it'll take 10 minutes per test per ICO. So for user, it may be less if it's a lot of the same thing that you just want to collect it to, but you just have to do it once, so that's 2,000. Then whenever you're doing a test, it will take you 5 minutes to test each of these changes. So that will add up to maybe $2,000 a year. And then when you're doing support package, I estimate that will probably take you 10 hours to do the testing, because you're just going to run all of these tests and do some extra verification of adapters that you're trying to use that we are not able to test, how they work, and that will add up to another 1,600. So that's like 40,000, so almost half price. And then the next year you don't have the server license, you have some maintenance. I think it's like 6,000 euros. So second year it will be, and you don't have installation there. So it will be significantly less at the second year of testing. And again, you can get this Excel sheet, so you can verify it yourself and do changes and figure out how you want to order these. I guess the challenging thing here is what happens if we do not test. This could be a bomb under your business and could lead substantial impact on what you're doing. It could have impact with the relationship of your partners. For instance, I know in the automobile industry, if you are not able to, or if you have a number of support cases with them, or not able to follow the SLA on business documents, you will not be able to bid for next year's contract. And you probably have other cases like this, so you want to make sure the things you're putting into production work and would not break anything with them. So there's also some legal requirements in this. If you're not able to submit your tax return or tax data in the required format in the required time, it will also cost you. There's also support cost. So this is all not cost in the PI department, but things that impact your business. In the PI, you may have some cost to do support, fix the problem. If you transport something to production, you find out that's a problem, you need to fix it, and there's change management, and obviously the time that is lost with the business. So probably one of the other one would probably fall into this category. So if we try to estimate some of this, there's some support cases that may be extra. I think they will probably take some more time to support each of them, and I estimate that you have maybe 30 of these a year. Probably some could be even more catastrophic, but that's like $10,000. You got so I have seen a client that had applied a support, not even a support packet, but a node on top of, or a patch, and updated to the latest patch, and that meant that they had to, some of the mappings didn't work as they expected to, because we had used some specific user-defined functions. So they had to roll back their landscape to before this patch, and obviously that had some cost. I have no idea what that would be, but maybe 20,000 euros, maybe more, for consulting, figure out what was wrong, how to fix it, open a case with SAP, roll back, and maybe that would happen every third year, something like that. So 6,000. There's the risk that you lose some kind of a business because of not following these SLAs or sending a failed document that the partner cannot read anymore. Maybe that would happen once a year. That would cost you 20,000 euros. And then there's the challenging one. What happens if your system go down? I know a lot of customers that if their production system is down for an hour, it costs them $1 million US or maybe more. And if the PI is down and you're not able to process orders or something like that, it really does affect the business. And maybe that would happen once a year, or once every second year. You got an hour of downtime that will cost this amount of money. So obviously these errors of prices is, well, depending on what you're thinking and how much you think this would happen. But obviously you're doing some testing, so it would be something between this value and the other one. But yeah, well, at least based on this, it does make sense to test, unless you're using ERT and you can see, okay, we can actually save the cost of testing this. So I hope you see some of the benefit of this. You can download the Excel sheet so you can play around with the numbers in your own mind and see how it would fit to your business. You can find the Excel sheet below the video here. If you want to try it out and see how it works, go to figaf.com/IRT. There you can see more about what the tool can do, how testing, how easy it is to use, and setting up these test cases and run it. And I'm looking forward to hear your response on how this business case works.